Let's talk for a minute about priorities, because while the Park Avenue has been made faster and the interior is now very clean, there's still the elephant in the room, which is it is still broken. The dashboard is an absolute Christmas tree and it makes all kinds of fun noises and vibrations as we go down the road, and most of that is just due to two things, but it maybe I should work on fixing those and also figure out why it leaves these big old puddles. I don't know if I'm showing that right. I can't see the screen, the sun is in my eyes, but there's a big puddle there. I'm not sure if it's ATF or engine oil. So let's get this into the shop, get it lifted, well, jacked up, and see what I can find out. But first, Big Oil doesn't want you to know this one simple trick. Throw away all your oil, you don't need it. You don't ever need to do an oil change again, and I'll show you why. Okay, just gonna give that a start. Okay, all right. Okay, yep, the door is not ajar, it is a door. Change engine oil soon. Okay, so let's see here, I think it's there, oil life index. Yeah, it needs change. There's only 4% of the oil left, but if I just push and hold this button here, look at that, it's now got 100% oil life left. I didn't have to do anything. Didn't have to change it or nothing. It's now good to go. And that's it. Sell all your stock in BP, sell all your stock in Exxon. If I go missing, you know why. Let's see what we're dealing with here. So, in order for the hub to come off, I'm gonna have to take off the brake caliper and this big nut, and then hammer the axle back a little bit just to break it out of the hub. And then on the back, there are presumably some nuts somewhere to get the whole hub assembly off. It's a unit assembly, so it actually unbolts from the upright instead of like having to press bearings on and off. Annoyingly, this car needs brakes as well as an oil change, and that's going to get frustratingly expensive. Also, that end link is toast. Luckily, I have some new ones already. So, yeah, brakes, hubs, oil change, end links. That'll fix quite a few of my issues. I'm not sure. Let's see here. There's a bit of a lip on the inside. It's not terrible. Wow, just like that. It's a wheel hub. It's just a 14 millimeter, I think. What is this? What are you? 4 15 mil bolts. Takes the brake off, dangle it with a zip tie. Definitely need brakes. There is not much left there, and then I need what appears to be a 34 millimeter socket in order to get the CV axle shaft off. I did take a look at the connectors for the speed sensor, and they look to be good, so that's nice. Just want to make sure they weren't melted or anything. This isn't actually the one that was giving the error, but you know, I thought I'd check anyway. It's time once again for me to sing GM's praises. I absolutely love this unit bearing design because this whole assembly just comes right off. Uh-oh. See, I say that. I was being held up by the connector. I just had to take it off of this bracket here, and then this whole assembly can come out as soon as I can figure out how to work this through. I think the answer is just cut it. Yep. Bearing out. And let's see how trashed it is. Not terrible. No grinding or anything when it's off. It felt pretty bad with the wheel on though, and generally you do one, you might as well do all of them. This, I can't tell if this is original or not. It is not. It's a precision bearing. I don't know how precise it was, but I love shiny, clean parts. You can see just the 3 bolts hold it on. It's so easy. Oh, this actually spins a bit nicer. I dig that. Cool. And this, I think this might have to come off, is the secret. There, that should be slim enough to fit, just like my jeans. There we go. And on it goes. A 13 mil on an extension from the back with a ratchet handle, and you drop it a few times and that will suck it right back on. Okay, so a couple things to make sure that you check. Don't forget to put this in there first, or you'll have to do it all over again, and make sure that the base here is clocked correctly for the wire to come out the right end. And then I'll just go ahead and slip the retainer back on. There it is, and that plugs into here. And I think that goes right like that. And that is all good to go. Now we just put big old nut on. Everyone's got to love a big nut. And then the M18 set to kill. I can't believe this isn't staked or anything. I think it's just like a conical thread. Yep, there goes my hearing. Shiny, nice new hub, good sensor. That should be good for at least 6 months. With shockingly minor amounts of persuasion, the N-Link has just snapped on both sides, so now I've got to work on getting these out. I think a hammer and a chisel is going to be the solution here. Well, we got those N-Links out. Had to light one of them on fire to get it out, which you can kind of see the shriveled up remains of it. That was some super fun, not toxic fumes, but we got it out and nothing else got lit on fire or melted. So I think that was a success. Ooh, that's pretty. That is a new sway bar N-Link installed. So this side is getting close to done. And I had to modify these N-Links a bit. So this is what the N-Link usually looks like. It's basically a long bolt with some washers, bushing, washer, spacer, washer, bushing, bushing, washer, nut. And then the lower control arm goes here, the sway bar goes here. The problem, as you can already see, is there's not very much room between these, and there's no excess threads for the nut to get on. So you put this in, there's no way to like compress the bushing so that I can get the nut in here. So I actually took the spacer, cut it in half, and put one half in there. And I still have plenty of threads to actually compress the bushings. And yeah, I think that's good. So now I'll go through this on the other side, and that part will be done. Ah, that's so nice. Nice, fresh brake pads, and an N-Link, and a wheel hub. Lovely. Time to go do all of this on the other side. Meanwhile, Alec is out here burning my wood pile, which is great. One less thing for me to do. Just for a quick point of comparison, here's the brakes that were on the Park Avenue, and these are the brakes we're putting on it. Now, other than the wear, it's very interesting how much more contact area these new brakes have. I don't quite understand what's up with that. What the heck sort of cheap garbage is this? I'm real excited to drive this now. See what these new pads are like. So I'm just pads away from wrapping up the other side, and then we can get the oil changed on this beast and go bed these pads in. So something I wanted to figure out while I was down here is what's been leaving these puddles of ATF, and well, the answer is the transmission. As you can see, since it's tilted backwards, ATF has just kind of been puddling on this side and dripping off. But look at that. I was expecting that this was just like gasket maker or something, but that's an actual solid gasket there. And when I grabbed a 10mm and put it on here, these things were all just barely finger tight. And I'm gonna look up the actual torque spec, but I put like an extra quarter of a rotation on there, just, you know, basically with my hand. And so I'm gonna have to check the level, because I have a feeling my trans is probably a little low, which is a dangerous place to be. But what this also tells me is that someone probably serviced this thing fairly recently and, you know, did a crap job of it, but still. Anyway, let's get a 15 and get this old oil out of here, get that taken care of. Nice filter location, GM, thank you. Actually, like, unironically in a good place. Gonna use a funnel this time, because we did just clean this engine bay. Retorque to the trans pan to the 10 foot-pounds it's supposed to be, not the less than 1 foot-pound that it was. Oil, wicks, filter, hubs, sway bar N-Links, rotors, pads. Let's start this thing. E85 problem.
Should be back behind it.
Real engineering hours. I fixed the broom. Because going to the store and just paying $7 for a broom is severely overrated. Honestly, they're probably more than that. Everything's more expensive than I expected it to be.
Is, but,
Hey, you know what? Look at that. You can't buy that. You can't put a price on perfection. Look at that. That's as sturdy as a not very sturdy thing, really.
Slightly owned.
New merch coming soon. It's a lot quieter driving over bumps now that we actually have sway bar end links. The strut mounts definitely need replaced as well. Those always go in these cars, but of course then you've got to take them at first and strut out, get some spring compressors, take it apart. Oh man, I bet it handles so much better now that the sway bar can actually do something. I was fairly impressed with the handling before, really. The steering feels a little bit tighter as well. Still a little bit of play in the steering wheel, but you know, steering column needs replaced. To bed in pads, I believe the procedure is 2 or 3 hard brakes from 60 to 5 miles an hour. Don't stop completely, because then you can bake the pad to the wheel. So let's just get going here and just stand all over it. It's pretty good. Sometimes your rotors will catch fire doing this, but you know, these things happen. So probably best not to do this if you just painted your calipers or something. And stand all over it. It brakes nice and straight too. That feels good. No more shuddering or weaving or anything like that. It brakes in a nice straight line, nice and smooth. I love it. One more hard one. That's what she said. Oh, it corners way better now. Oh yeah. Wow, that's pretty good. The big girl can't stop. I'm curious if any of my vibrations are gone. I can smell the brakes. Oil pressure is good. My wheel bearings are not making any noise. That's very nice. Oh, that was it. Yeah, the wheel bearings. I thought the shot wheel bearings could have been my vibration as well. It doesn't feel like the car is falling apart over bumps anymore. The steering feels so much more sure of itself, even with the steering column issue, which I'm not looking forward to doing at all. It's one of the last big things that this car really needs, is that steering column swap. Okay, 55, absolutely no sign of, that's a big truck. No shaking, just the road. I think we're good here. It feels like a Buick should. I can just hit the cruise control, sit back, and scream in horror at this massive truck right to my left. Hey buddy, please notice me. Senpai. So in high school I had a Buick LeSabre and it just cornered everywhere on its door handles, but this is, I mean, you wouldn't want to push it, but for just, you know, a nice gentle curve, it's nice and flat. You know, it's not immediately keeling over, and I could make it better. I need to do the sway bar bushings themselves, because there was like, I could see light all around the sway bar. It's not perfect, but it's really good. All right, well that does it for this episode of fixing up one of my dream cars, this 2003 Buick Park Avenue Ultra. What a thing. I mean, this was on the verge of being a hoopty, and I think we're pretty close to bringing it back to being a good example of a Park Avenue, which is fantastic. Everything we do to this car makes it better, which I love. That's one of the really rewarding things about starting with a car that is about to attain hoopty status, is there's so many things you can do that just make a big difference. So like, if you drive one that's a hoopty and you like it, just imagine how much you'll like it when it's sorted. And like with most of these videos, we're gonna end with me gonna go get some food. Thank y'all for watching.